In today's Urbandoned video, we are documenting two different abandoned swimming baths in England that offer dated architecture as well as functioning electricity. Another unique feature of both properties is that they are alarmed. Unfortunately, we won't be able to have the pleasure of wandering through the buildings without triggering their sensors, hence the brief explorations. Join us as we head inside to see what's left. Remember to click subscribe and press the notification bell to never miss a video. The last question that we asked was where should we visit on our next urbex trip. We received some interesting suggestions, but have selected this one from Victor, who wants us to visit some derelict castles in Europe. This is definitely on the cards for any future ventures we can do overseas, potentially later this year. This time, after just releasing the first issue of our magazine, we want to know what features we should add to the next issue. Any ideas that you might have would be greatly appreciated, and our favourite comment will feature in our next video. The first site we planned to infiltrate was a disused pool in a small town. Due to our knowledge that there was no natural light inside anyway, we figured we could visit the structure at night to help avoid getting spotted. In no time we had made our way inside, behind the main attraction. Wow. Sucks there's no natural light coming into this pool, but the roof's very modern. Most of it is modern really, but it's something a bit different. Although it is quite modern, it still has the old changing rooms that these pools would have at the side of the pool rather than in a separate room. This old picture that shows the building. 2011, looked almost exactly the same as it does now, but the lights were on. Going to take us up to the balcony. It's nowhere near as grand as other pools I've been in, but still quite nice. I feel like there'd be more benches rather than just two on either side. And all the spectators would be up here watching. This place is massive. Those guys at the other end show the scale. Constructed in the 1880s, along with a library and an institution, the baths is a lot older than it might appear. This is because it has clearly been modernised over the years, probably to assist maintenance fees staying low, a hard job when dealing with an outdated building. Sadly, despite their efforts and a local campaign to prevent the facility's demise, the council decided to shut the leisure centre just over a decade ago in order to save money. This footage shows the last time the pool was covered after closure was announced, following more than a century in use. Power's all on in here, so surely it will come on in the main room as well. I don't think there's much to these rooms.
Doesn't look like it. It's something empty.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy in here.
What? Just gonna do pick it and then I'm coming.
Promisingly, the upper offices had working power, so we were intrigued to head down towards the reception to see if we could transform the main hall's appearance with a simple switch. This is a gym. Nothing in here at all. See signs of decay actually, which I didn't think we would in this pool. In the corner. This is the reception. There's going to be an alarm, it's going to be in this bit.
See it settle? What's that? Lights?
Yeah. I reckon it'll work, honestly.
Yeah.
They're coming on in
Seems to
here.
have worked. Maybe the pool's worked.
So notice board with just the pins remaining. Hopefully you can hear me. The alarms were extremely loud, and the audio has been reduced by more than half to protect your ears. Knowing that it was more than likely that someone would be entering the building shortly to check for intruders, we only had a brief duration to see if the lights were working in the pool room. Oh shit. Oh shit. Wow, this makes this place 10 times better. Damn. So weird how an atmosphere can just be changed by lights. Probably don't have long, so we'll make what we can capture count. It's amazing how clean the condition of the building is, especially after such a long period of disuse. We think that until recently the structure was kept in a decent state, as an art exhibition and a music video occupied the complex in recent years. I didn't even notice this prior, the blue roll that covers the pool when it's not being used at this far end. Still here. Yeah. Due to the property's lack of deterioration, as well as its Grade 2 listing, we are hopeful that it can be reused or repurposed in the future. Currently it is up for sale besides its neighbours that were built at a similar date and apparently won't be sold separately. feel like with a place like this it really wouldn't be too hard to bring it back in use. It's probably declining numbers with its location that caused its closure. Currently the condition it's in at the time of making is definitely savable. Like, you'd hardly know it was abandoned if it wasn't. We found ourselves in another pool. This one is a lot more trashed, but it has the power again. Stained glass is pretty cool, the reception. That's a nice stained glass window again. Got all this homeless stuff though. We moved through really boring parts of the building to find our way into the pool section, and there was even more of this. Doesn't look like it's been used too recently though. This is definitely a gym, you can tell by the mirrors. Keeps the same tiled decor as well, which is pretty cool. Skylight's so common, see these in almost every swimming baths. Wow. This is pretty nice despite the cover below the skylight. There's some pool. On a different day, we were able to explore another neglected pool with the help of sunlight. However, our entrance wasn't as disguised as the first, meaning that we only wanted to spend a short while inside before leaving swiftly. Later on, we would also set off a silent alarm, which rushed us even more. Sure enough, our friend Ollie was able to switch on the power once more, which was a bonus for the dated structure. In comparison with our first showcase, the building remained with more of its original details, yet the lack of attention it had been given since closure was evident, with visible decay on the ceiling and walls, proof of squatters and vandalism in places. You can see the light flickering there. I feel like these changing rooms definitely weren't original. They were added on later, just they don't fit in with the really old brickwork of the building. It's a really nice building, to be fair. This one seems to lack the modernisation that the other pool we explored did. They've kept their old parts a lot better to show. It's just a bit smaller. It doesn't have the balcony. It's the main differences. Jesus, there is so much water damage in here. We have a plunge pool, I think it's called, and it actually has water developing in it like a little swamp. There's a sauna, someone's tripod, and a steam room, I think, with the glass. I think that's what it's used for. Yeah, pretty standard facilities. Opened in the 1920s, the building operated for almost 80 years before being closed alongside many other old-fashioned swimming baths in the area, most of which were replaced with new facilities. In that respect, it is very similar with the first baths that couldn't compete with modern efficient sites of the same function, consequently shutting to the public because of it. Ignoring the basic similarity of these two pools being that they both had power and were alarmed, there is a whole lot more to it that provokes comparison. On the one hand, this bath's lost its original features to cost-focused developments and has stayed almost immaculate since, whilst keeping most of its personality, it is much more difficult to prevent a building like the second falling into disrepair. It's the balance that each of the leisure centres failed to stick to, which proves to be the significant reason that they closed down. We hope you enjoyed a different style of video. If you did and want to see more, subscribe to never miss a future release. Here are some of our photographs captured at either pool. If you like the look of them, check out our Instagram page where we post images of places months before they are shared on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can now purchase issue 1 of our magazine, only available for a little longer. See you next time.